Good afternoon and good evening. Welcome back to another ClearMud live stream. Today we vibe. We vibe with our new playlist from producer.ai. This is not a paid sponsorship, but I gotta say I do love the lo-fi jams that we put together here. How's everyone doing today? Let me make sure we're live. Good afternoon and good evening. Beautiful. All right, so for yesterday's long form video, I did rush the new website live by a day or two. I was getting tired of putting it off, so I pushed it live. Ran into some bugs out the gate. So I just opened up resources to be available to the public. This will eventually be behind a Google Auth login. But new website's live. I'm loving how it's looking. Very similar to before, but it's got the newer tech stack, live feeds, so this should always be accurate. It should never be stale. The form's working again. The blog, I kind of want to work on this today. I want to pick certain sources to always show news. And then as you can see, we have a live feed of our latest videos, latest live streams. Really loving how this is coming together. It's really looking like a true blog. Yo, what's up, Sharma? Welcome back. Happy Friday. How you doing today? What's up, Pokemon? Hey, Sakuras. Let's go. Welcome back. Hey, I'm glad to see you're live. I know you have been working on a pretty wild setup, and I can't wait to hear more about the new build. I was watching this before stream. I don't know, since today's a super light day, if we get flagged for copyright or whatever, it's fine on YouTube. I'm not sure that we can watch other videos like Theo. I'm not sure if he has like a Creative Commons rule for it, but I do love watching his input. So just put one in the chat if you want to watch this video with me and we can finish watching it and listening to it. He gives some sources here. The intro was hilarious. Let's actually play back the intro.
Anthropic just made a huge change to how rate limits work for Claude Code subscribers, and people are pissed. It's spring break for Claude Code. Enjoy 2x usage.
He unravels the timeline of oh, whoa, we're getting a bonus. And then
during off-peak wait, what? They're pissed about this? Oh, that was March 14th. It's not March 14th anymore, it's the week after. And now there's a new post. To manage growing demand for Claude, we're adjusting our 5-hour session limits for free, pro, and max subs during peak hours. Your weekly limits remain unchanged, but during weekdays between
it was like, hey, here's a bonus. And then 2 weeks later, oh, by the way, we're changing things.
5 a.m. and 11 a.m. Pacific time, you'll move through your 5
It was like a precursor to what was about to happen.
Or session limits faster than before.
I just want to, what's up, Derek? How you doing today? Welcome back. Right on, we'll play it here in a second. Finally added OAuth for Codex and Claude after spending over 2K last month on OpenRouter. I'm glad you finally did this. Yeah, and keep in mind, listen, the fact that the OpenClaw onboarding still allows you to select that method shows it's not banned, right? The fact that the founder of OpenClaw still uses his Claude Max sub for his OpenClaw agent shows it's not banned. So anyone telling you otherwise is, I hate to say it, I don't want to say they're wrong. Anthropic, as we're learning, is very, very, very vague, but I'm so glad you just finally did this to save yourself some money, especially for the setup. And hey, you can always move over to API usage once you're done with the heavy lifting up front. Once it's all automation focused, once your system's dialed in, then yeah, move over to API if you want, right? What's the best combo for $200 a month for vibe coding? Listen, this is not a paid promo, but right now, it really depends on what you're doing. If you want peace of mind, let's say you're setting up an OpenClaw agent and you want peace of mind knowing that your subscription is valid and is never gonna be banned, OpenAI is the move, right? Because they've announced that you can openly use their subs for OpenClaw. However, I wish OpenAI offered a $100 a month plan because I'd tell you to go with both of those. I'd tell you to go with Codex and Claude Code pairing. But like right now, my main daily driver is Opus 4.6. It still is. Even with all of this drama, it is still Opus 4.6. That's my daily driver. Now, I do have a Codex sub. I do have a Google AI Ultra sub, but the Google stuff is now more creative focused than anything. I rarely use the CLI. I just love Claude's output far more. What's up? What's up? Welcome back. Yeah. As I went off on a brief rant. Like, listen, proceed with caution. I'm not telling you I know what Anthropic's up to, but like, it's false information, right? And sadly, there's a lot of creators out there who will make videos just to get you to click and play with your emotions. So I don't do that around here. But they wrong. What's up, Ganj? Welcome back. Yo, Santos. Let's go. Right on. Hey, thank you. I'm glad it's bringing some value. And thanks for the positive feedback here. Yep, Codex is better at something that Plus isn't, and vice versa. So having both is recommended. Yeah, both of these is the move. Listen, I use Codex almost on a daily basis, but it's primarily for security audits and back-end code-based related stuff. But I do Claude Code with a lot of the heavy lifting and building initial prototypes, et cetera, and daily automations and research. Yeah, it's just the move. So that I hope that answers your question. Man, I'm trying to figure out what your name is here, but STJ. I'm just going to call you STJ until you tell me otherwise. Yeah, so Muddy OS is actually still on an older version of OpenClaw. Let me check. I got the ping for Telegram. I think I'm on 3.24. I just haven't needed, listen, I don't follow each new update. On Goat OS, you discovered, if you go look at Wednesday's bootcamp, our last episode of the bootcamp, there are some bonus episodes coming out soon. I did have to pause that VM altogether. I needed to free up resources. I wanted to give Muddy more responsibility. So full transparency, Goat is back offline. I'm gonna bring him back online once I'm back in California, once he gets its own server. You discover, like on Wednesday, it was actually very difficult. I wouldn't say it was difficult, but it caused, the 4.1 update caused issues. We had to troubleshoot it. We had to fix it. I fix it live if you want to go see that process from Wednesday's episode. But stay tuned. The bootcamp is going to continue with some bonus episodes at some point. And that's when I start using Goat on a daily basis, which I'm not right now. I reallocated those resources back over to Muddy. Because I want to give Muddy more responsibility here now that the boot camp is technically over. But without squirrel ado, let's finish. I want to finish watching this here really quick.
I have a lot of thoughts here. For those who don't know, the Claude Code subscriptions have historically been very, very generous. So much so that according to some of the competitors doing analysis, you're able to consume up to $5,000 of compute per month when paying for the $200 a month plan. That is a
So listen, I also want to touch on this a little bit. I believe I mentioned this Wednesday or Monday. I mentioned it sometime this week during a live stream that I think we're all getting, and listen, I'm guilty of this too. We're all getting a little spoiled and our expectations are so high that anytime some weird little thing happens, we blame the provider. We blame the model when they've been blessing us with an amazing plan of compute if you actually use it to its full capabilities. Like, they're losing money and they don't have enough compute to go around. So I really want to, Theo's right here. You're about to, I watched a little bit further into this video, right? They are giving away so much compute for so little per month. And I think we as a community have become spoiled, right? And our expectations are so high that whenever some weird thing happens, it's just like we're pitchforks and we're coming together and we're very mad, right? When we shouldn't be. We need to have a little perspective here. Because we're also very early. Imagine 1-2 years down the road, what's the Claude Max plan going to be cost? Is there going to be a newer Max plan that gives the same usage that we have now for far more, right? I feel like that's the direction we're headed. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong because I love this $200 a month plan.
5x subsidization. That is crazy. And that's fine if they want to do it until they can't manage to do it anymore. And it seems like they are struggling to manage. This 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. window in particular seems to be the centerpiece of their struggles, as it's the exact same window that they cited over here with the Claude March discount thing they did. Yeah, it's the 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific time window. Outside of that,
has anybody been operating out of these hours? I have been. I've been personally making it a point to only do work outside of these hours lately, and I've noticed my usage has gone back to normal, which is awesome. I've scheduled all of any cron that I had within this time frame of this peak hour usage. I've rescheduled my systems to kind of work around it. And it's not that I don't use Muddy OS, ClearMud OS or anything, right? It's that I only use it if I need to, right? That's the key like differentiator now. And I'm noticing my usage back to where it used to be, which is nice.
Doubled your usage, but if you were working within that window, your usage stayed the same. But it seems like they've gone even further and now limited it heavily, citing a number that is seemingly small, but is actually very, very scary, saying that around 7% of users will hit session limits that they wouldn't have hit before, particularly for pro tiers.
I mean,
this is not great.
I was starting to hit them as a max
going
user.
From,
So.
I think you should reconsider to this is fucking bullshit. People aren't
the
happy.
profanity
and
on this one
here
is
might surprise you guys. I think they're getting too much crap for this. I'm going to do my best to explain why, how we got here, and why we'll be seeing more and more of these things in the future. But if I have to have 2 subs right now, someone's got to cover the bill. So we're going to take a quick break for today's sponsor.
I like how he rings in his sponsors, but let's pass.
It'll be way
Pass through all
lots of
this.
agents. Things. 1, this video has nothing to do with the Claude Code source leak. We're just covering the rate limit changes. 2, separate from the rate limit changes that were discussed and mostly the topic of this video, there were also some bugs with how the rate limits were being applied. The details have not been discussed in a meaningful public way, just that they are aware that people were hitting usage limits and they shipped some changes in order to make this less likely. There were a lot of theories as to what was causing this, everything from broken code preventing cache from being hit to intentionally bloating the context to cause usage to go up. None of that appears to be true, and even if it was, it appears to be a bug. That all said, they still haven't done a rate limit reset, so it is what it is. But that is not what we're talking about. This is all still being investigated and is borderline conspiracy, some of the things I've been seeing. So don't expect me to talk about the reverse engineering that was done in order to try and figure out what was broken in the caching, because we also learned from the source code leak that that probably wasn't true. So let's go back to the actual topic, which is why the rate limits were changed and the economic reality that Anthropic has put themselves in, which is quite rough. The main thing we need to cover here is that compute is expensive. More specifically, we need to talk about how Anthropic made terrible choices around compute, and they're now eating the cost of that long term. There are other layers I want to talk about here, from how this was communicated to how it was tested with this previous change to how poor Thorik has to deal with all of this himself, and it doesn't.
Oh, I thought he just called Anthropic Porthropic, but that's how you pronounce Thorik? I guess it's not Thorik, it's Thorik. Interesting.
Help internally at all. And we'll talk about all of that, don't worry. But I really want...
Let's catch up on some comments, though. Love to know your setup for character graphic build, Nano Banana, and design skills. Are you talking about all the pieces of creative you see that get generated on... Let's see. Interesting. It's actually using the wrong creative here, I think. I gotta vet this. But are you talking about like these characters? Like this? So I created like a very basic cartoon model based off of my face and my dreads on Manus many months ago. And then I started doing iterations on Google's Nano Banana and then Nano Banana Pro. And now with Nano Banana 2, I use, shout out Derek in the community, I created this brand kit section in ClearMud OS that references certain avatars, a color palette, preferred, styling, text, all that. And anytime new pieces of creative get generated, like if you go to my video to social, this all runs, listen, it's not perfect, right? But this all gets generated based off of that brand kit and certain, prompts that we have in place. I want to optimize this. I'm not like thrilled about it. It's funny to me. It's great for now. But as you can see, it's kind of inconsistent, but I do love its approach. Like it does a pretty decent job at generating infographics, and it uses Muddy's kind of PFP here, right? And then my PFP, now it's like baking in this circuit board skin to it. So I think a video should be created around this, but first I want to optimize mine, right? I'm not completely happy with it. So if that's what you're asking about, I'll add that to my list. Let's go ideation. Using Nano Banana for image generation based on brand kit. Brand kit and style sheet here in ClearMud OS. All right. I have a Copilot subscription. Yo, what's up, John? I have a Copilot subscription, but not used it outside of Visual Studio. Would like to, if possible. Copilot. I feel like I'm living under a rock. Is this Microsoft Copilot or something else? I didn't know they had a subscription. I hate new OpenClaw updates. Stupid allow. Yeah, like unless some of the changelog or new release notes apply to you and something you want to accomplish, don't just go update. Only update when you really, really need to, in my opinion. Especially if you're operating locally like most of us are. It's like you don't need these security hardening updates. Those are primarily for front-facing OpenClaw setups, which if you go watch countless of the founder Peter Steinberg's interviews, you know, he doesn't recommend having a front-facing OpenClaw setup. He has his local, and he recommends that everybody do it local for as long as possible. I agree with us being spoiled, but they also don't help themselves the way they communicate. Yeah, 110%. I agree. Anthropic is way too vague. Like OpenAI has the upper hand there because they at least explain things up and they're upfront about it, right? And when the community backlashes about something, they explain their approach behind it. Anthropic, on the other hand, does not do this. They just ignore it. They ignore the backlash. Yo, what's up? Today, we're going to be vibe coding our website a little bit. Right now, we're just watching a little Theo video, vibing with the community. It's a chill Friday, you know? Yeah, right on. You and me both. I think we're all, like, I'm excited for this weekend. I have a lot of work planned just on my internal systems and some new automations I want to configure. Just going to be a lot of, you know, just Dexter's laboratory here. I swapped a Codex in the peak windows. Smart. So I'm planning on upgrading my GPT sub to the $200 a month plan here within a week or two. And I'm going to have to start doing this. This is actually, I don't know why I didn't think about this. Love it, Stonesy. Okay. Hit it within 30 minutes is terrible. I'm on a probe. Yeah, it's rough. I mean, I was hitting it. Yeah. As soon as I just went, I want to choose my words carefully. As soon as I started to see the capabilities and imagine the possibilities of OpenClaw, my pro sub maxed out in 45 minutes every time, every 5-hour window, to the point where it was like, it was hindering any progress, and I had to upgrade. I had to bite the bullet to upgrade to max. It is on my list. So right now I'm testing Hermes more. I haven't set up Paperclip yet. It's on my list to set up, but right now I'm focused on a Hermes build. And I gotta say, the key differences right now out of the gate, listen, this isn't a Hermes episode, but you know, I feel like where it's gonna shine more is technical work, is back-end work, and keeping OpenClaw more of the front-end / automation / personal / professional AI assistant kind of lane, right? Now, OpenClaw can also do back-end, but just from my brief experience with, I don't know, a week of playing with Hermes at this point, maybe even 10 days, that's going to be like how I'm going to be using it moving forward. It's cool. Don't get me wrong. It's cool, but it's not an OpenClaw killer. It's got its own lane. It's got its own lane. I may have said before, but we're saying, when using Opus 4.6, I use 19% of my 7 agent heartbeats. Oh, wow. using Codex, use 5. Yeah, so Opus 4, like with heartbeats, use Haiku. Use Gemini 3 Flash, 3.1 Flash. You don't need an intelligent model for those heartbeats. Those heartbeats are just checkers. You can use the cheapest possible model because the heartbeat just triggers something else. And whatever it triggers, you can then specify that model, right? My heartbeats check to see if anything fails. And then all of my automations run off of a particular model depending on the automation. So the heartbeats are just checkers, right? So let's go. That's good to hear. I mean, you learn by experience right there. And I hope I just answered that right there. I don't default, no. Cheapest possible model. Oh, GitHub Copilot, okay. Use many different models, 80 per year for the pro plan, has free models too. Oh, okay. Hey, yeah, this right here as well. I haven't personally tested this, but this is a great idea. I dialed Kimmy in and shifting to another model to start over I don't want. Not in the mood for that right now unless some extraordinary model shows up. Okay, interesting. I mean, we're complaining about usage now, right? Wait till Mythos, however you pronounce this, comes out. I mean, I have a feeling it's going to be like when Opus 4 came out, and Opus 4 was just, on the pro plan at least, 1 or 2 or 3 prompts, you're maxed out for the 5-hour window. I have a feeling that's what Mythos is about to be like, or Mythos. I like to say Mythos. I don't know which one's the correct term.
I want to focus in on the compute side here because the story there is interesting. Now, firstly, to start with something that y'all might not actually know, it takes GPUs to run models like Claude. I know, crazy, revolutionary thinking here. But when you combine this with another fact, I think things will start to make a little more sense. Anthropic researchers also need GPUs. This might seem obvious as well, like obviously running your models needs a GPU and training your model needs a GPU, but there is a big issue here. If you have a fixed number of GPUs, how...
Aren't we already? Yes, I believe we are. Listen, if you have a smartphone, there's truly no privacy. So, I mean, this whole kind of narrative around cheap Chinese models or, you know, privacy vulnerable Chinese models or whatever this, whatever that, like, listen, at the end of the day, if you're in this era, if you're using a smartphone, you've already forfeited any privacy you may already have or think you have. So, I mean, you might as well start testing all the tech and all the models. I thought about using OpenRouter free for heartbeats, but worried it would hit usage limits, etc. Yeah, I mean, one thing you can always test is, right, use it as the primary and then set a fallback for those heartbeats. Your system might complain about that, but it's worth the shot. I haven't tested this, but that is definitely a thought. With Hermes, I make a new profile for each repo and only use it for that one. It gets to learn all the quirks, etc. for that repo and how you like to use it pretty fast. Then you have OC to speak to. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Stonesy, for like sharing how you're using Hermes. Like Hermes, listen, videos are coming for that, but to my understanding, like, another big difference is instead of relying on your infrastructure, it kind of self-improves its own model based on whatever task you're giving it. So focusing this, like the Hermes profiles, I haven't played with this yet to be fully transparent, but now I'm going to start doing this. And I think pairing Hermes and Codex, I think will be a great pairing for back-end code-based related work / security audits. Like, I feel like this is the move to use that agent for that, have it communicate with your OpenClaw agent as well. Yo, what's up, whoosh? The heartbeat test was on default paperclip install with no tasks. So be aware it's token heavy. Okay. Good to know.
How do you split them? How do you make sure there are enough GPUs for both your users that are paying to use your stuff and for the product teams to make the stuff for those users, as well as having enough GPUs for the researchers and the people building the models in the first place? It is my understanding that there is a very adversarial relationship internally between the 3 groups here that matter. You have research, you have product, and you have users. Hopefully you guys know what research does. They're the ones who actually make the models and create them using all of this compute power. Then there's product. This is stuff like Claude.ai, the website, Claude Code, the subscription, as well as the CLI and all the things we integrate with that, Claude Cowork, all the products that they offer, even to an extent the APIs and SDKs that they sell to enterprises as well. Those are the people at the company who are building the product for it. And then you have the users, the people at the end who are paying for these things and then consuming them as users of said product. But something's changed over time. Anthropic got a lot more customers. In 2024, they made 100 million of revenue. In 2025, they made $1 billion. And right now it's looking like their revenue for 2026, assuming it stays where it is, not even growing more, it's going to hit 14 billion in revenue. The number of customers spending over $100,000 annually on Claude has grown 7x in the past year. And also there's the enterprise side. 2 years ago, a dozen customers spent over $1 million with us on an annual basis. Now that number exceeds 500. 8 of the Fortune 10 companies are now Claude customers. Do you understand? The growth has been absurd. And that means that the product and user side of this breakdown has been encroaching more and more on the GPU allocation they have. This is obviously going to be very inaccurate, but let's say they have 100 GPUs. They have to decide how these get split across the different groups internally. Maybe it's split 50-50. Maybe half goes to research and half goes to the users. Maybe they split it more aggressively. Maybe they split it 75-25. Maybe they go the other way. Maybe they give research way more. The issue here is that one of these sides is elastic in the sense that they can change how much internally people are using the GPUs. Like if research is using too many and product needs more so they can land some deal, they can take GPUs away from research and reallocate them to users. And they allocate on an even more fine-grained method than this. Like when I believe it was when Sonnet 4 dropped, we couldn't get a high enough rate limit in T3 chat for even basic usage. And I had a long back and forth with our salesperson there, and they said they could bump our rate limit, but they would have to knock down our rate limit for other models, because what they were effectively doing was changing how many GPUs were reserved for given models. And they're not the only ones who have to think about things in this way. Even OpenAI just had to shut down a product. It was their Sora app, as well as the API for it, which is their video model that I roasted hard not long ago. The Sora app used an ungodly amount of compute because video gen is expensive, and they also weren't making real money on it. They didn't see real growth or a direction with it. So they decided the best solution would be to sunset it so they could have those GPUs available for other things. So other labs do have these problems too, but I want to focus on the problems that are specific to Anthropic. The first one is how poorly, I would say, they've adjusted going from a research company to a product company. It was not in their DNA. It was not in their blood. It was not what they were meant to do. Even the original Claude AI site was contracted out. They went other places to other devs externally to build it because they just wanted to focus on making the models good. As such, research has tended to lead Anthropic as a company. What the researchers want tends to be what ends up happening, which means as product and the users of the product started having more and more demand, research was upset. And when they realized they can't really reduce how much compute users are using without losing money and losing...
Guessing the OpenClaw update will have self-involving stuff baked in, and I'm sure people are working on the Claude Code leak and integrating that with the framework anyway. Yeah, I mean, proceed with caution. Like, anybody showing off that code base, I feel like, is violating some types of terms and services and might get hit with a lawsuit from Anthropic. So I'm not even going to bother like talking about it, nor trying to dig through the code base or have my agent dig through the code base, because that's just not what I do here. So, but yeah, it's kind of wild, I watched Eisenberg's video with Paperclip founder and asked my agent what it does we can't, and how to integrate into my team. Nice. You actually just gave me an idea. Let's have Muddy prep something for us, shall we? We'll close this real quick. Where is this Paperclip video? Paperclip.
How do you turn a...
I want you to download the transcript on this video, summarize it, and compare it to OpenClaw.ai. Create a video prop for me hosted locally. Give me the port. Give me the link to the HTML so I can show it off on live stream. Now, keep in mind, this is not meant to be like, this is just to see how Muddy's interpretation of that transcript and Paperclip. And let me also give it, because it's in my to-do list here. Here's the repo. Keep in mind, this will not be a video prop for resources, just a prop for the live stream. One and done.
Thorik said here, this affects users during weekdays between 5 a.m. and 11 a.m. Pacific time, which he tweeted at 12:45 p.m. Pacific time. That's not great. There is one other admittedly small but very, very annoying thing here. Not everybody's on Twitter. If I could not be on Twitter, I would have made that choice long ago. Sadly, I and many others are trapped there. This post, not only was it 2-ish hours late from when the window ended, it's also only on Twitter, and it's not even from an official Anthropic account. It's from Thorik, who's an individual employee at Anthropic. He doesn't even run a team. He's just a guy that does DevRel stuff for them.
He's literally, they need to give this man a raise. They need to give him a raise, okay? And I hope he can start sharing more. Like, he is the reason I'm still with Anthropic. Well, and the model. But like their vagueness and their lack of accountability and addressing certain issues and being transparent about that is such a negative to me. But listen, they have a great model. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, you can love them, you can hate them, but their model is solid. So let's keep using it.
So if you're not a Twitter user and you're not following him, but you're paying for Claude Code and you're paying for the subscription, there is no place that you get this information. It's not in the dashboard. It's not in the CLI. It's not in Claude.ai. This is information that you only get if you're on Twitter. That's a huge optics L for them to take. Thankfully, a bunch of y'all are getting it here. Actually, leave a comment if you didn't know about this change before this video, despite being a heavy Claude Code user. And definitely let me know if you hit one of these limits.
Do me that favor as well. Like, if you're watching this live or recording, did you know about this? Or is this the first time you're hearing about this? I'm very, very curious to know. I'm pretty sure most everybody here is within Twitter and well aware of the ecosystem, but like there should be, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few viewers who were not aware of this. There is a paperclip OpenClaw prompt to integrate them. Not tried it yet. Okay, interesting. I found paperclip hard to install, the amount of back and forth, even using Claude Code to install it. I hope they make it easier. That's the thing about these things early on is they're not going to be easy to install. I think we'll get to a point where it is, but you know, easy comes at a cost of control. Like let's take Hermes Agent, for example. It's easy to set up. Where is it? Where's their agent thing? I tested it and I immediately was disgusted with it, so I left it. But like ease of use comes at a cost, and it's usually comes at a cost of control over your environment. So, you know, setting things up yourself locally, you have control over your environment, over your infrastructure. You may not have control over the model that powers them, but you still have control over your setup. When you use something like Perplexity Computer, now, I could be wrong. I believe Perplexity Computer allows you to install it locally on a Mac Mini now, but previously, like, this is all hosted by Perplexity. This is all hosted by Manus or Meta, right? This is why I'll test for like a day or an hour. And then I realize I have no control over my data or my infrastructure on these platforms. So I'm not gonna waste time configuring an agent on either one of those because I don't like how I don't have control over my infrastructure, you know? Oh, is there no sound? You sure? Oh, you're talking about no sound with what you were doing. Okay. I had no idea, and I don't even have a Twitter account. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, listen, I'm going to start keeping this in mind moving forward, right? Like, if you're not on Twitter, maybe start off certain episodes this way and, like, try to give people updates. This is a great account to follow, TRQ212. Is it really? Everything looks good on my end. Weird. Okay, Derek hears me fine. Interesting. So I'm wondering if it's because I'm playing this, if YouTube's doing something to this live stream. Okay, maybe not. Hey, this seems like, okay, seems like we're good. All right. I love how we have real-time feedback. All good with sound. Yeah. Can y'all please elaborate? Maybe hard refresh your page. I thought for a second YouTube just said, nope, you can't play Theo's video. we gotta mute you. Okay, good. Well, thanks. It looks like it's just two people. It's not me, it's you. Listen, I'll at least try to help troubleshoot before I say, you know what, you got to figure it out, because like, like a majority of chat can hear me. Oh, interesting. Yeah, try to reload. And me saying this doesn't help because you can't hear me.
And were confused about it because they didn't announce this as a company, which is funny because on the other hand, when they did the spring break thing where they doubled the limits outside of those hours, there was absolutely a link on the official site as well as a tweet from the official account.
Ooh, I have some crons failed. I need to check that.
That is absurd. And it's not Thorik's fault. If anything, he is the solution here, not the problem. He's the one who made this post. But Anthropic not jumping on this, not officially communicating this, is relatively shameful. You shouldn't have to be on Twitter and Reddit and YouTube to hear about your subscription suddenly being less valuable.
Yep.
You should be able to see that in the product as you use it. Anyways, the other thing that's not great is that they're not specifying how much faster you'll go through that 5-hour window. They are just saying you will.
You know, I've always wanted to learn sign language. It's my goal to be fluent in 5 languages, and I'm working on my 3rd right now. So, you know, maybe that 5th language is sign language. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, good to hear.
So while this messaging is...
To answer you, my primary setup where I do a lot of my heavy lifting is Muddy. He's got his own virtual machine. I let him run free within the VM. But when it comes to being connected to my debit or credit cards or personal information, no. Listen, just no. But I've given Muddy his own Google Workspace, his own phone number. Like, he's free in that sense. But when it comes to spending money or any front-facing posts or communications to leads inbound on any of our email addresses, like team or partnerships, as well as social posts, I'm the blocker. I don't let him just freely do that. I want to review everything that's going out because I do not want to sound like AI slop, and I do not want to contribute to this just insane amount of AI slop that people aren't monitoring, and they're just letting their agents post just thinking that they're doing the right thing. I think it's the wrong thing. I think it's not contributing towards a positive future. Not monitoring what your agent is posting across socials, right? So hope that answers your question, right? My setup is sandboxed, but technically within that sandbox, he's free to do almost anything he wants to do. And I've given him all the tools that he needs to do whatever it is he wants to do. He's got his own GitHub account. He's got his own Vercel account. He's like, he can host things on his own, right? The only thing he doesn't have access to is my main web hosting account, which handles a lot of our DNS records for a lot of the different projects, external and internal, right? There's certain things that, listen, I know how bad it can go if you give it full access to just completely everything. And that's just not what I want to do with my agents, at least not yet.
Is reasonable, and I appreciate Thorik deeply for the transparency in his efforts to deal with this. It is important to recognize the flubs here. The lack of real numbers combined with the very untimely announcement here had horrible optics. These things together just looked and felt awful to most onlookers, especially
like,
the people.
This right here should have been a message within the Claude desktop app, right? Like, don't you guys agree? Like, they are so damn vague. This is why, like, I bite my tongue when I say use Claude Max for OpenClaw, because like yeah, something is clearly going on. What's weird is it was when I opened the Claude desktop app. Let's see if that fixes it. Yeah. How interesting is that? I might have to remove that app altogether. Legitimately, once I closed the Claude desktop app, problems went away. OpenAI. Okay. Okay, 1 hour ago, 18 hours ago, March 30th, 3 days, 3 days, 3 days, but like 5 days in between posts, right? So like they go radio silence for a while, right? And all of these posts from Thorik, you would think would come from the official account, but while they're radio silence, Thorik's the one speaking out. And then let's go look at OpenAI. I'm just curious. 23 hours. Okay, they went a few days there. They went another few days there. I guess they're guilty of it too. Interesting. I was just curious. I was very, very curious. Let's open up ChatGPT. No, it doesn't have its own account like Claude. Yeah, sorry, stream. Something just happened. I'm not sure if you guys ran into, like, if I went offline or like whatever happened. What's interesting is when I opened the Claude desktop app, Twitter stopped loading. When I closed the Claude desktop app, Twitter started loading again. Very, very interesting. I don't use the desktop app much anymore, but I'm curious to see, like, was the stream just consistent or did we have some disconnects there? Test post ignore. Yeah, I think we had some issues there. Because it seems like the Claude desktop app caused some issues. I don't really use it anymore. I opened it just to it lagged for you too. Yeah. So when I open Claude desktop, I think it's just got too many roots into the system to where it caused things to kind of not load. And I mean, the timing was impeccable. When I was going on X to compare two accounts, is right after I opened the desktop app. And as soon as I did a force quit on the desktop app, it started working again. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. It's going to make me want to uninstall the Claude desktop app, if I'm being brutally honest with you, which I'm just going to do right now. Wow. We just discovered that real time, huh? So it worked for you the whole time? Okay, interesting. Yeah, sorry about that, stream. It depends. Depends what I'm vibe coding out of, but lately it's been CMux. Let's actually close that window. Lately it's been CMux. I'll open up multiple kind of projects, and then I can have, it's very similar to Ghosty. You can do split, although it looks like, there it is. Oh, it's D. Now something's going on to where my hotkeys aren't working at this moment. That's interesting. Let me force quit. Yeah, but lately it's been CMux out of the terminal, and then just working locally and then committing to Git. But I've been doing a lot of work out of, looks like, yeah, something's going on here. Let's do a hard refresh there. I mean, I guess it is working. It's operating very slow, and we are within the peak hours, but we're only 6% on the week. So interesting. I mean, we're just going to let it work and get back to watching this video.
These limits, which apparently is 7% of users are going to hit them. That's a significant number of users hitting this before the announcement even went live. Here's a user who mentioned that they've been on the max plan.
That announcement should be across every Claude setup, product, login, but it's not. It's not.
Plan for over 6 months and they've never had a problem. But on the day that this change went live, Claude Code used 100% of their 5-hour limit in a workflow that usually only would take 10%. It's hard to know for sure how big the hit is here. I have not been able to test it because it hasn't been a weekday since they announced this, so I haven't had the ability to actually thoroughly test it. But if what this user says is true, and it is a 10x decrease during that window, that's really, really bad. That's like really, really bad. It's hard to not contrast that with what's going on over at OpenAI. Tibo just shared on the same day, funny enough, that they reset Codex usage limits across all plans so that everybody can experiment with the new plugin system that they had just launched.
Ooh.
And because it's been a while since
And
they
this
did a
is
reset.
also why I love watching Theo and other creators like this. But Theo is very like well known in the industry, and he knows like who to go to for information. I want to go follow this person, Tibo, because I don't think I'm following them. And this is how I discover new accounts to follow as well. Tibo, what was his name? THS. There it is. Good stuff, right? And you wouldn't know to like follow these people unless you're like in the industry. And this is why I also, you know, going back to it,
Tibo's notorious for
love
resetting
watching
the
Theo.
Codex usage limits
You
all
get
of
to
the
see
time.
some of these
If
accounts
there's a
that he
bug,
follows.
It gets reset. There's a new feature.
I think
it
that's
gets
how I
reset.
discovered
There's a new
Thorik
model
as well.
Often gets reset. And they're currently in a double usage window, which I believe ends on, funny enough, April 1st. So nobody's going to believe it. I don't think that was strategic, but came out in a pretty funny way. This got so common, people started making memes about it, like the Codex rate limit reset.today website, where they tell you if it's been reset today or not.
No,
There
back
are
to your
so many
local
of these
model
memes.
peasant.
Saint Tibo, giver of tokens, resetter of limits. Oh man, it's become a meme. They are notorious for this, and they take advantage of that. What's really funny here, and I hate to read into these numbers, they don't mean too much. This post has 9K likes, 888K views. So under a mil views, 9K likes. Thorik has 7 million views, so 7x the viewership, 7x the eyes on it, and less likes at 7K. That is the sentiment shift happening in real time. And this is OpenAI getting a lot of support for the way they're doing things, the transparency and the user-friendly behavior they are doing. Meanwhile, Anthropic is burning their trust with the community at a record pace, despite this change, in my opinion, largely making sense. This is a real issue they have. They're not changing this because they are greedy or they want to maximize their money or they want to
grab
screw
some
over
water. I'm gonna
people
let you
who
guys
have
watch
these
this. I'll be right back.
subscriptions. They are clearly in a rock and a hard place situation where they subsidized meaningfully too hard. Getting 5K in compute for $200 in sub is just insane. And they could have just stopped doing that. They could have just went back to giving you $200 when you pay $200. But the problem wasn't that at all hours usage was too high. The problem was that in this window, enterprise customers weren't getting access because there weren't enough GPUs available. They could have just changed the limits entirely, but I like the fact that they went this direction. It's also pretty clear that their previous spring break thing was their attempt to experiment with the windows and see what usage looked like when they had more usage outside of the 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. window instead of less usage inside of it. So they tried this strategy, they got their data, they learned a lot, I'm sure, and the conclusion was it wasn't enough to pull people out of this window, so they have to reduce the amount of usage in this window. And to be clear, they are not the only lab doing things like this. Maybe they're doing it way less transparently and in very cringe aggressive ways, but there are other labs like, OpenAI that do this the opposite direction. The default price for 5.4 during normal hours is $2.50 per million tokens in and $15 per million tokens out. But if you go to the batch pricing, it gets chopped massively, where it gets cut literally in half. When you do batch processing, it's $1.25 per million and $7.50 per mil out. What is batch pricing? For large numbers of API requests that are not time sensitive. This means that instead of reserving compute and letting you execute ASAP, you're just putting it on a queue and waiting for them to notify you when it's done. That's part of how they are handling the increase in demand, but it's also how they're letting people who are very cost sensitive maximize the value they're getting per dollar. That said, I would never use the batch processing in a product like Codex or T3 code. I would use this when I have a bunch of data I want to analyze in the background, and I don't care about when it's done. And Flex is largely the same, but it's just higher latency. Batch is more when you're grouping a bunch of stuff and want to get pinged when it's done later. Flex is similar, but then there's the opposite, which is priority. It's the making sure you have enough GPUs allocated for the entirety of your request so that you don't get limited between tokens ever. And as a result, it's 2x more expensive. It's $5 per million and 30 per mil out. Now we're getting close to Sonnet prices, but Sonnet fast is even hilariously more expensive. Regardless, you get the idea here, hopefully. A lot of the difference here is in the availability. In a GPU during a peak hour that is being used by enterprise customers paying a lot of money is much more valuable than a GPU at 1 a.m. on a weekend when nobody is using it but degenerates like ourselves. I know you and I are alike here. We love coding at off hours and watching YouTube videos at even more off hours. Leave a comment if you're watching this past midnight. You get the idea. One last thing worth noting is this last message from Thorik. I am taking him at his word here. I cannot fathom him having any reason to not be truthful in this statement. Overall, weekly limits are staying the same. It's just how they're distributed across the week that's changing. Again, that was probably why they did the 2x thing. They wanted to see if they could give users 2x the compute in off hours, would that destroy them or not? And I'm guessing that long term, that's kind of their plan. They're going to give you way higher limits during off hours and slightly to meaningfully lower limits during these peak hours. That said, people kind of sensed this when it was first announced they were doing the discount pricing. Pranet said that Anthropic pulled the oldest trick in SaaS pricing. $200 for Claude Max, limits have been notably worse for the past week, but suddenly they announced that 2x off-peak usage for 2 weeks. Sounds generous, but he suspects that they quietly dropped the limits, added the temporary 2x to make the reduced limit feel normal, then the promo ends and you're left at a baseline that was lower than it was before. There are a lot of people who do a lot of analysis of how much value you could get out of a Claude Code sub. Like, I'm pretty sure Cursor just has something running in the background at all hours, pushing the limit so they can document it. But yeah, well, I see why people are being so conspiratorial here. Especially because previously Thorik replied, no, it's just a bonus 2x. It's not that deep. I'm pretty sure he believed this at the time, and that the team was given the goal of looking into what different ways of spreading the compute usage across the week would look like. And then faster than expected, because again, they're growing faster than expected.
Yeah, I feel bad for Thorik because he's probably not even on the in with everything. Even though he's on the team, like, he probably finds things out very, very last minute. Not as last minute as us, but like, he's probably even kept in the dark at some level, I would imagine, right?
Expected. This had to be changed quickly because they were hoping that they probably thought they'd have a month or two to figure this out. It ended up being a week.
All right, this has been fun, but Theo, we're gonna have to sign off of your video.
And they had to make the change. They quietly made the change. Everything fucking exploded.
But this seems like a great follow, so I'm gonna add that bell and get in there. So I had issues where excuse me. I had issues where YouTube lagged when I used OpenClaw. I think it was very strange, but each time I posted an OpenClaw dashboard chat, it made YouTube lag. Interesting. Are you talking about related to the stream or just in general? I still use Visual Studio Code actually, primarily for client work. I don't use it for personal projects. Early on with vibe coding, I found that keeping my IDEs separate, like using one IDE for one use case, using another IDE for something else. Listen, I love these IDEs in the sense of like, you have one view where you can spin up as many terminals as you'd like. You have your file tree of all of the, the code base, all of the different files, the folders, et cetera, within a project. And then you have preview windows, right? For the raw text, or in most IDEs cases, you can now preview whatever you're building in line without having to open another browser. I think that's great. That is great. But I only use it for specific projects. When I want to multitask, I've been finding myself using CMux more and more if I'm not already using my OpenClaw agent. Let's go check in. Ooh, something's going on here. You alive? But did you die? Anyone see that movie? I think most of us in here are Hangover fans. Oh, fucking love that movie. Oh, excuse my language, but today is chill. Today is chill. We can cuss all we want. Interesting. I might have to do some gateway maintenance. We might even actually, and look, it's not cleaning up all the tabs like it should when it's doing its research. Interesting. I'm just gonna close all of that. All of that. All right, let's do, yeah, so it looks like I am running 3.24. But hey, maybe this is a moment where it's time to, I'm gonna do this off air. I don't wanna do this on air. But I'm excited for infra kind of in for Saturday tomorrow because I have a lot to do. All right. You back? That's interesting how I just had to do... No, we can actually close out of that as well. Let's see, unless this is the peak hours, I mean, it hasn't gone up much on the week, but it's incredibly slow right now. Muddy usually responds instantaneously, like within seconds. Huh. Very interesting. I mean, let me just ensure that maybe there's something going on with the chat feature in that. Let's just open up the OpenClaw gateway on the VM itself using the loopback address. I mean, did it even get my alive? No. Okay, interesting. It could be Muddy Ops chat that I need to optimize. No, something's clearly going on, and I think it's a direct correlation to using Claude Opus 4.6 during these peak hours, is my guess. I do not want to just force an update. So you know what we're going to do? Since there's no cron scheduled in this window, and I haven't done some maintenance on this system in a while, let's do some updates on this VM, because it's always good to do the updates. And then I'm going to reboot the VM. So we're going to take everything offline, bring it back online. Let's see what updates. So updates to Brave browser, VPN, and some libraries as well for Linux. Okay, great. So we'll just do some maintenance, take the system offline, reboot this VM, bring it back online. Okay, I guess I'm not alone. I thought my agent was going slow today too. Interesting. I mean, I was up very late into the morning. I have a very weird sleep schedule right now, but I did a lot of work between the hours of 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. this morning, and then decided to take a midday nap, a little siesta. Couldn't get much sleep last night, which led into just vibe coding in the morning because I knew it was outside of peak hours here locally in Europe. And then I was like, I'll do a few hours siesta in the afternoon because my sleep schedule is all over the place. So it was working fine this morning. I was very happy with the results. We made a lot of progress on the website and a few other things. But I haven't done this type of maintenance for Muddy in a little bit, for the VM in a little bit. So we might as well do this live. And while we wait for that, we can go back to the website, and I want to see a few things I want to change. So the form's now working. Yeah, when I force pushed this live, the form wasn't working. The CAPTCHA wasn't working properly. The blog was a mess. And then the resources, it had this Google sign-on infinite loop issue. So I was like, you know what? Instead of having people comment saying the resources aren't working, I just opened it up to the public, because we had to wait 24 hours for the cache to clear on Cloudflare, just to be sure. I'm sure I didn't have to wait that long. But for me, for peace of mind, knowing tonight I'm going to work on that OAuth login for our resources tab. And then moving forward, you're going to be met with sign in with Google to access all of this. But as you can see here, this is where, moving forward, for anybody curious, any of the video props I create for long form videos, I just put them live. I'm just going to put them live, period. You're going to get access to everything, right? And then the best part of these is, if you scroll down, we have these prompts that allow you to copy paste into your agent. So a lot of free resources on our website right now. I will never paywall this. I will email wallet at some point so that we can start sending you updates about ClearMud with the email you sign up for. But listen, I want to start giving more sauce rather than just in videos, right? I want to start having this. And we're going to improve on this layout. I know that the resources layout is kind of meh right now, but it's one of those things that as we grow, as we add more to it, I'm going to find unique ways to kind of repackage this page. It'll probably end up looking more and more like a dashboard than anything. But for now, this is the look, this is the feel, keeping it simple for now. And then we'll build as we add more to it. That's the type of builder I am. I don't just go build something I don't need yet. I'd rather populate whatever I'm building with data and then find new ways to package that data, right? 4.2 is relatively stable. 4.1 was the one that messed things up. If you tried, no, I have not. And my reasoning is, listen, I don't try to fix what's not broke, right? That old saying. But now more and more during these peak hours, it's like, I'm going to go back to what Stonesy said earlier in this live stream. It's like, I think I'm going to start using OpenAI more during these peak hours. But additionally, this is going to encourage me to start testing other models during these peak hours as well. And as soon as I'm back in California, I deploy an old server, which has a lot of resources tied to it, which I'll be able to actually play with more models more confidently, and not have to stress my main M1 Max that's sitting right in front of me, which I'm going to have to upgrade this year as well. Let's go check that maintenance. Where do we stand? All right, restart now. And I don't do VM snapshots for Linux updates, never. I only do VM snapshots before I update OpenClaw. That way, if it bricks something, I can just restore that snapshot. Yeah, I've worked with computers pretty arguably my whole life. I grew up around computers, started when I was 6. My dad started building servers for some of the local labs in the San Francisco Bay Area, from his kind of experience as an engineer with Cume, and I forget where else he worked. So I was exposed to computers at a very early age. I was primarily a gamer when I was younger. Didn't really want to apply the knowledge, Did this not reboot? I feel like it did nothing. It did nothing. Okay, let's force a restart. So that led me down the path of IT, right? And I do run my own company. We just formed a new company for this brand, ClearMud. We offer AI-related services. I also do web development stuff on the side. Reached out to my old list of clients and got a lot of work to start the new year. Yeah, that's essentially what I do. I was in limbo for a few years, I'll be honest with you. I worked my ass off for the better part of just 9 years straight of just getting more and more intense with just working 18-hour days, literally sleeping at the office, to the point of burning out, to the point of when my dog got Optimo, best dog to ever live. She changed my life, right? I got her in college. She passed away suddenly to bone cancer. And I took a step back at that time and realized how much time I spent away from her, building that business or multiple businesses and just working my tail off, just focused on the client more than myself. It really made me realize I was unhappy, didn't want to keep working that field. So I left the IT industry, I retired, and I went in limbo for a few years. And now here I am. The idea for ClearMud actually started in 2023 in December, if you look at when this channel was formed. But it took me 1.5 years to even make a video because I wanted to be thoughtful about the approach. I knew this brand was going to be my future. I just didn't know how. And I didn't know the approach I was going to take the channel yet either. Originally, I wanted it to be a faceless YouTube channel. I didn't want to show my face. But the more and more time went on since the idea, first was born, I realized that people are going to want a personal connection. And then more importantly, they're going to want somebody who's been working with computers their whole lives to be able to trust and talk to and ask questions to about this technology, right? So that's what steered me away from this being a faceless YouTube channel of just infographic related creative and all that with my voice in the back end to me actually connecting with you and building with you. Because I think that this human connection is going to become more and more rare as time progresses. People are going to start creating their own virtual humans, AI humans that you're probably not even going to be able to tell the difference on camera. I think most of us, if you've been exposed to a lot of AI slop, you'll be able to see if a video of a human is AI or not. But I feel like as time evolves, right, it's going to get increasingly difficult to see that difference. So, but yeah, right now I just do side work, web development work mainly. I don't do any more IT. I reached out to a lot of old clients and they respected that boundary that I set because they understand why I, stopped working that industry, why I left. And yeah, AI moving forward, full throttle. So that's my background. I know I kind of went off on a tangent, but I kind of just do what I need to do to pay the bills on the side right now until this brand and this channel starts making me money to the point where it can support me, right? To the point where I can do this full time. So I don't do ClearMud full time at this moment. I would love to do it full time, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to take the tactics that most people are taking to make money on YouTube with AI knowledge, right? Boot camps, paid courses, all this paywall bullshit, excuse my language. Like, I think there's a different approach. There's a more genuine approach. There's a better approach, right? Than being extractive. And I'm really staying true to that approach. And I'm not trying to extract here. Yes, I do want to make a living off of this, but that is not my North Star, is to just add money to the bank account. That's not the North Star. So hope that answers your question. I've been experimenting with LoRa's some free video generation models. The results are okay-ish, but I completely see it overtaking human created content. Yeah. And I think it's going to be becoming, even more and more difficult to like figure out the difference. All right. I feel like maybe I went off on a rant too much, but did it restart? Okay, it did restart. That's right. I do remember typing in the password. One of those easy, slow Fridays. But yeah, this year is a weird year for me. It was the first year I've generated revenue since 2021, I believe. And 2021 was the year she passed in January. So like the rest of that year, I was just focused on closing out accounts and slowly working my way out. I didn't just want to throw a middle finger up and say, you guys are all on your own. I did have some contractual obligations at that time as well that I had to close out. But yeah, I went from 0 to 100 from December to January when the work started. It was like such a big change from 22 to 25, 22, 23, 24, 20. That's 4 years of not working. That is insane. Now I worked my ass off to be able to save up to live that type of life for sure. As you can see, this is how OG this VM is. It's from the original when it was called ClaudeBot. All right, so now we're back. But yeah, 4 years, it's wild. So like, and it took some adjustment at the beginning of this year. I'm not gonna lie, like I was kind of tired and I was making sure I've experienced burnout in my life more than one occasion. So like, I think I have the tools now to prevent that. And I'm making sure that everything I do, like it doesn't accumulate into a burnout. And I'm very thoughtful about that. I'm very thoughtful about personal time. I'm very thoughtful about disconnecting from the computer, doing other things to making sure that I don't burn out. But yeah, I'm the same. I'm a developer or now more of an agent orchestrator. Hey, this is like a career right here in itself, agent orchestrator. Like there are so many people who don't even want to take the time or are scared of, the capabilities or need to be taught the capabilities or need somebody to hold their hand. Like that in itself is a niche and you can make tons of money off of being an AI orchestrator for sure. And I haven't even positioned myself as this, but the amount of inbound leads I've received and, projects I started working on the side, building out OpenClaw systems, building out AI agent automations. It's insane. It's insane. And like, imagine if you positioned yourself this way, like the amount of money you could make from that. Yeah. How things have changed, right? Hey, John. Well, thanks for staying up. Appreciate you. Oh, is there an OpenClaw meetup in Bangkok? Depending on when it is, if timing aligns with travel and what continent I'm at, you never know. But hey, cheers. Hope you have a good evening. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next week. All right. So let's get back to Muddy. We should be good. I'm just going to ping him. Okay, ping pong. I'm mid-build on your paper. Okay, so it's continuing. Got the transcript, wrote the TSX component, added the import, still need to register in resources array and component map, then build and deploy. Remind me, this isn't going on the website, is it? This is local only, correct? On a completely unrelated note, how does everyone like this background music? I gotta say, I'm vibing with it. I might have to go change this though. Let's go to the chillin' jazz. Whoa, what did I just do there? I just wanted to play the whole playlist, not the first song. There we go. Now it's more responsive, okay. So maybe that restart did it. And you guys notice what I did there. I didn't have to do any OpenClaw gateway restart, right? That's all a part of the system D services that every time the VM reboots, it automatically kicks everything on for us. And we explain how to do that in that OpenClaw bootcamp, by the way. Now, that's not gonna apply to every single environment, right? But you can use that information, feed it to your agent, and say, hey, I want to make sure that I never have to like manually, anytime the system reboots, I don't have to manually go in and start the gateway, right? It should automatically kick up. No, you're not understanding me. So, are you okay? I asked you to create a local video prop. This isn't going on the website, right? So you're referencing the locally hosted ClearMud V3. We've already disabled the question mark preview equals true workaround on our production site, right? What I'm asking you is once you're done with this HTML doc, it's a local doc that you're creating. This isn't going on the website, to reiterate, right? I just want to show it off on the live stream, which say hi, everyone's watching you right now. One of those days, sometimes I give it some sass. Are you okay? Hey, live stream crew. Hope you're enjoying the show. I'll sort it out. Yeah, we're still waiting for that paperclip prop. So at this point, let's go kind of look at things that I want to improve here. I'm thinking the latest AI news. Where do we want this to feed from? I also need to do blog posts for Prompt Browser and ClawCrib as well, I'm realizing. One thing I'm also noticing is, it's okay for these. I have to improve. Yeah, one thing we have to improve on is our automation. I believe it was called Content Cascade. It was a 3-part automation where it would stage, or rather a 4-part automation where it would stage a new ClearMud blog, a Substack post as a draft, and then an X post and a LinkedIn post as a draft based off of a long form video, which gets triggered 24 hours after our long form videos get posted. I think I want to break this apart and create one automation just for our blog, because I'm noticing when you filled the backlog, when we deployed the new website yesterday, you're just using the YouTube thumbnails and you're not actually using the media that was generated when you run the /generate command in ClearMud OS, which you can find in video to social if you pop up your browser. You can see the past 5 processed videos. They all have their unique Nano Banana generated creative that you did not use on the blog. Explain why. First, explain why you didn't use it on the blog. And then secondly, I think push back if you think I'm wrong, but I think we should have a new automation just for the blog to make sure that we utilize the creative we pay for, right? And that the thumbnail of the YouTube video only is displayed in the footer of the blog post where it says watch the full walkthrough on YouTube. I want to see the embed of the thumbnail of that YouTube video in question. So I want to also improve that outro on the blog posts. Watch the video version. And then I'm also looking, it looks like you actually added a few things. Never miss a post. That's cool. Watch the video version. So you have essentially two call to actions leading the same direction. At the bottom of the article, at least the one I'm reading about how to build autonomous AI agent meetings with OpenClaw, there's two watch on YouTube links. We should only have one, right? So I like the idea of that 2-column split where it's watch the video or never miss a post. So the one above it, watch on YouTube, you can remove that altogether. And then I'd like to incorporate, like I mentioned, I want the thumbnail to be visible of the YouTube video in question. And I want to make sure it always links to the right YouTube video and not just our YouTube channel like it does currently. Okay, so it looks like the call to action above it, watch on YouTube, that actually links to the video itself. But the one below it in the 2 columns, that's just a general watch on YouTube. So maybe I'm kind of going in circles here. So maybe actually leave that call to action related to the video at the bottom of the article and then the 2 columns split. I think it should be a subscribe on YouTube, right? Because we're taking them to the YouTube channel. So let's encourage them to subscribe to YouTube versus subscribing to newsletter. I think should be those 2 call to actions at the footer there of every single blog post moving forward. You're also going to have to go through all old blog posts, but first let's dial in this new automation and this new template. Let me know if you have any questions. Nice big brain dump. Nice big brain dump. But I do love the sticky side here. This still works, which is great. Post on X. Nice. That works great. What's funny is I didn't test all of this. Okay, LinkedIn works great. Subscribe. Okay, it takes you to this section here, which is good. It's fine. I think we'll do a pop-up eventually. This does it as well. That's fine. It's kind of redundant though, don't you guys think? I love the latest feeds. That looks great. But now it's like, where do we want to pull our AI news from? I'm going to have to think, I'm going to have to be a little bit more thoughtful about this. It's like, I'm thinking like maybe I incorporate like feeds from these people who give information about these companies. Maybe that would be a unique touch. But then you think AI news, you think like, okay, what's being discussed about AI from Wired or from these major production companies? I think it's going to have to be production, and then maybe like latest AI pulse or something like that. And that's in that section. That's where we reference people like Tibo, people like Thorik, right? Or Thorik. I think Theo called him Thorik, right? That's where we like feed their posts below it and then have production-based news up top. I think that's the move. Additionally, for the ClearMud blog on the left-hand side, we have a coming soon for the latest AI news. So here's how I imagine this, right? Latest AI news should be from production, like news outlets for just like enterprise-focused news, whether it's Anthropic, OpenAI, Gemini, you get the picture, right? Big name news. And then below that, I want a news section called, I don't know if we call it like, keep your finger on the pulse. And then in that section, we only feed news or quote unquote tweets from people on X, such as Tibo, which is at THSSOTTIAUX, or Thorik, which is at TRQ212. Now, each of those accounts respectively represent and post about OpenAI or Anthropic, right? Thorik is TRQ is Anthropic focused, right? Because he's on the team there. Whereas Tibo, the THS account, he's on, Codex OpenAI's team. So I think having that kind of unique approach in the blog on that left-hand column would be really, really cool. What are your thoughts here? And then to answer your response above, let's see, good questions. Why I used YouTube thumbnails instead of Nano Banana generated creative. Honestly, the blog deployment skill I was following says if no image exists, download the YouTube thumbnail as fallback. Okay. When I backfilled all those blog posts yesterday, I took the lazy path. You son of a... This generated creative exists right here. Yup. For most videos, I just didn't wire the blog deployment. Okay. On your proposal to split up a blog-only automation, you're right. I wouldn't push back on this. Here's why it makes sense. The Cascade tries to do 4 things at once, and it was working fine, but I think it's time, now that we have a new website, to have a specific automation for the blog. It makes the most sense. Okay. Yeah, start building this now, and then also start building my big brain dump, and answer my question as far as that left column, right? I want to make sure that the latest AI news has a source article to link to. So maybe we need to create a source list of blogs or websites to monitor, or maybe you can develop a list for me. And then what do you think about keep your finger on the pulse section with those 2 specific accounts? And then as we grow, we'll start to add different X accounts. So we essentially, for the AI Pulse section, we source X accounts. For the latest AI news, we source specific brand websites with blogs and updates from those brands and products, etc. Big brain dump. Big brain dump. All right. Honestly, if robots take over, I'm going first sometimes. I get mad with my AI, but no, you know what? I actually say please and thank you quite a bit. I don't know if I've said it today, but wow, it missed the beat on these. Did it get that right? Let's see. Tibo. Can I not spell today, or is my keyboard running out of battery? This thing's been solid, but interesting. It's starting to miss out on specific keys I hit a lot. You can kind of see it's it's falling, the paint or however they kind of put that there. This has been a solid little mobile rechargeable full length keyboard. I love it. I love it. I have one here and I have one in California. That way I don't have to bring them back and forth. It's Tibo on X, not whatever account you listed. Also, TRQ212 is Thorik. What stack did I use to build out Muddy OS? I believe I talk about this. We can ask Muddy. It's a mix. But it's mostly vanilla. I'll give you we'll ask Muddy to break down the tech stack for you. But it's mostly HTML, CSS, JS, JavaScript. There are no React components with this build at all. But it's all hosted locally, right? I didn't want to build out a tech stack that it would be front facing. Love this concept. Let me give you my honest take, then start building on the AI. Yes. Anthropic blog. All right, I want you to cross-reference all of those source blogs from the big companies, right? And make sure that those are actually legitimate blogs that work. So use your browser profile to validate all of these links. Don't just guess, right? If we're providing news for the public, for our audience, we have to make sure this news is accurate, all right? No demo data whatsoever. Also, what is ARS Technica? This is the first I'm hearing of this. Am I sleeping under a rock? Interesting. I gotta say, I love this look of this blog. Why am I just now learning about ARS? Well, thank you. But going back to it, validate each source, okay? On the keep your finger on the pulse, this is the differentiator. Nobody else is doing this on their blog. You're basically curating the insider track. People are on the teams posting real-time updates. Yeah, I love it. And please fix those names. Didn't I just post? Yeah, I just posted a fix to those names, so hopefully you get that. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Also, somebody in the audience is asking me, what's our tech stack for Muddy OS? As well as ClearMud OS. Let's give them the sauce. What's the tech stack that we built both of these OSs on, please? Okay. I'm liking how this is going. I want to make sure I'm going to keep his account open, though. Why can't I right-click and open new tab in this? I hate that about X sometimes. Tibo. There we go. Tibo, Thorik. Okay. Looks like it's doing some work, so we can see 2 messages queued right here. So let's go check how many sessions are open as well. "12 active sessions." Okay. We got to let it work. We don't want to stress the system too much. I could have sworn I also have a rule to where it staggers them once it hits 12. A rule I discovered early on, which is very important if you're doing a lot of work. So I'm actually curious. That's interesting. It's doing that much and it hasn't moved up 1% yet. And unless the peak hours changed because of the time change here, unless we're technically out of the peak hour now, it's 6:30 local though. And from what I understood, see, the problem is when he posted this, this was before the clocks rolled over here in Europe on this side of the world. So like it was still a 7-hour difference to Pacific rather than an 8-hour difference. So I'm curious. I would love some clarification. Like, this is why I wish it would just like be on Anthropic's post, you know, but it's not. It's a bummer. Helps to remember that Claude is a character the model is playing. Interesting. Yeah, I don't see anything related to like the time change. So I'm very, very curious. I'm guessing if you pasted a link, I don't see it. So maybe YouTube automatically filtered that out. It's possible. Yeah, right? It's like, it's just, listen. When AGI hits, I want to be known as someone who at least said please and thank you, was very grateful for the tech, and helped teach others about how to use the tech. I think I'll be spared. I think I'll be spared. Yeah, of course. As soon as listen, as you saw, Muddy's doing a lot of work right now. A lot of agents are spun up. A lot of sessions are spun up there. So we're just going to work on other things until it's time to check in on it again. Yeah, let's go back to chat here. I'm also gonna have to do some maintenance. Like, okay, here it is. Yeah, it's literally working real time. I'm sure if I go into the VM, Because that's one thing I didn't incorporate into our chat is, oh shoot, what's, token should be in recent memory. It's this one. But like these tool call functions, that's not in my streaming chat. It just shows my posts and its responses. So, I think I should incorporate this part of chat into Muddy Ops chat. This is kind of an outdated chat. I set it up at the time before all these changes to the OpenClaw dashboard. So I think this weekend it's going to be time to refresh this as well. I'm also gearing up towards a Muddy OS deep dive video where we're going to give master prompts in hopes that people can build their own. Now, mind you, the backend wiring is not going to work because it's specific for your industry. But what I am going to be giving is master prompts for you to build your own shell, right? So that you can configure it however you see fit. But I want to fine tune Muddy OS to the point where I'm happy with it before I record that video. I've been thinking about that video for like well over a month now, but each week something changes to where I remember I recorded 1 week thinking I was going to release it the next week, but so much happened in 10 days, I had to delete the recording. It was just pointless to release that because it was already outdated. That's how quickly we move here. So it's like the video will come out once things are a little bit more stable. Let me rephrase that. Things are stable once I'm happy with where things are and I don't want to keep improving things, right? Yeah, we're just waiting at this point. Let's see. Let's go view this. Listen, I'm curious about this. I love simple, and look at how simple this blog looks. OpenAI takes on another side quest. This is accurate. It's not like it's outdated. Where's the source from this? Oh, OpenAI is. Ooh. Hey, Derek, did you know about this? That's very interesting. I know Derek's been following this TBPN for quite some time, since they were smaller. Interesting. Okay. Perplexity's incognito mode is a sham. Yeah. I mean, I could have told you that without even reading this article. Perplexity's CEO has been very public about the fact that they make money off your data. There's no such thing as privacy using Perplexity's comment or Perplexity as a whole. They use your data to train their models. That's in the terms of service, right? That's in most of these LLMs terms of services, but Perplexity is very, very open about this. So like just reading this headline does not surprise me. Let's go dig a little bit further. Perplexity's AI search engine encourages users to go deeper with their prompts by engaging in chat sessions that a lawsuit has alleged are often shared in their entirety with Google and Meta. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised. They've been very open that they use your data. They sell your data. Like that's how they make their money is off of your data. Like that's no surprise. Like that has been very clear with Perplexity. Like I'm not going to read this. It's like, okay, great. Google Vids get AI upgrade with video and Lyra models. Interesting. OpenAI might be pulling back on video generation, right? Because Sora is dead, but Google is forging ahead with a major AI update to its Vids editing product. The company's latest video and audio models are now integrated with the tool. You can choose from various controllable avatars to appear in generated videos. Your creations are also easier to share on YouTube now. Interesting. Oh, hold on. That's way too loud. I don't want to blow your eardrums out. It's like a Canva meets PowerPoint meets video editor. Okay. I mean, 10 video generations per month is actually pretty generous on a free account. AI Pro get 50. Google's spendy AI Ultra plan. Okay, cool. That's good to know. And listen, like I've been back and forth on, am I going to continue staying signed up for Google AI Ultra? And I was running the numbers in my head, and it's like, I enjoy the creative side of things, at least for now. So let's say I were to hire a thumbnail editor or a thumbnail designer and motion graphics animator slash, animation creator, right? So that I just tell them what I want. They send me the materials. A, I don't learn anything about these tools. And B, that will cost me more than $250 a month. I have no doubt in my mind, hiring those two individuals to do as much as I want them to do on a monthly basis is going to cost more than that. Whereas if I just bite the bullet and keep paying for AI Ultra, I can keep doing things. I can keep playing with the tools myself, and I'm saving money. So it's like, yeah, it seems like I'm just going to keep Google AI Ultra. I think this is my last month at 60% off. I've only been paying $116 a month as of now since I signed up through. By the way, if you have a Google Workspace account for business, all you need is one email address that you're paying for. I think it's like $26 a month for a Google Workspace account setup. They offer 60% off for their Google AI Ultra for 3 months. So this is not a paid advertisement, but if you've been considering testing it, 60% off is hard to beat, right? I don't think you'd find that from OpenAI or GPT, or OpenAI or Anthropic. You might find it from OpenAI. I've noticed like canceling old accounts, they try to get you back with a free month or two. Anthropic does not give a flying nothing. No discounts whatsoever. They only give discounts through influencers for new signups, right? Anthropic, zero F's to give. I noticed yesterday that my utilization was normal. Okay, interesting. Yo, what's up, Supreme? What's going on? Any quick recap? Today we're vibing. We're doing a little bit of vibe coding. Actually, we haven't done any vibe coding much. We've just been reviewing our new website, making some changes, working with Muddy, talking AI news. Very chill day. I'm trying to figure out what sources I want to feed AI news on the ClearMud blog, which is going to be this section here. So yeah, we've been chilling. Today's just a nice, easy day. How about you? How's your Friday? What's my thoughts on Gemma 4? I have no thoughts as I haven't tested. But let's go look at, see if there's an article that we can pull up here. Switch to yeah, and my main reason, right, is I don't have the hardware to run these locally. So any local models, I don't have any feedback yet because I don't have the budget yet for that hardware. Now, if you're watching this and you're from NVIDIA and want to send me a Spark or a Jetson for me to start demoing and playing with and testing these local models, listen, send it and I'll make those videos. But right now it's just not in the budget for me to pay for this type of hardware. This will change in the coming months, hopefully by fall, but yeah, so I wish I had more to say about local models and open models like this, but I don't, right? At least not yet. I'm aware of them, but it's like, I can only do so much research. My type of research that I love to do is hands-on. It's testing the thing. It's not just reading about the thing and creating listicles about the thing and talking about the thing. I actually want to use it, break it, create stuff with it, right? Whatever model it may be, whatever piece of hardware it may be, and then share with you my experience and expertise. That's how I learn, right? Is through experimentation, not through reading. So I hope that answers it. Listen, I don't want to mislead you. I think if you're here and you've stuck through long enough on this channel, it's not my focus to mislead you and create content around things I don't know and haven't thoroughly tested. So, let's watch this video though.
Hi, my name is Olivier, and I'm a group product manager on the Gemma.
Okay, now we need sound.
Since we launched our first models, the developer community has absolutely blown us away. Over 400 million downloads, over 100,000 variants. You've built a vibrant ecosystem around Gemma, and we could not be more grateful. We've listened very closely to what you wanted next, and today we are thrilled to announce Gemma 4. Built from the same world-class research and technology behind Gemini 3, Gemma 4 is our family of open models designed to run directly on the hardware you own: phone, laptops, and desktop. For the first time ever, we are releasing Gemma
Wait
under
a second.
an open source
Running on the
Apache
phone?
2.0 license. Gemma 4 is built for the agentic era. It can handle complex logic, multi-step planning, and agentic workflows, making optimal use of tokens for its intelligence. The bigger model performs well with a context window of up to 250,000 tokens,
Interesting.
allowing you to analyze entire code bases and handle multi-turn agentic use cases. It features native support.
Interesting. Okay, I might have to start testing this if I can literally run it on my Pixel. That's not much. I was thinking that this was going to be very GPU intensive.
Support for tool use, allowing you to build agents that plan and act on your behalf. Let's break down the model family now. First, a 26B mixture of experts and a 31B dense models. These provide frontier intelligence directly on your personal computer. You can run state-of-the-art local reasoning and coding pipeline without needing to upload data outside of your control environment. The 26B MOE with 3.8 billion activated parameters is exceptionally fast, while 31B is optimized for output quality. Then, we have our effective 2B and effective 4B models. Engineered for maximum memory efficiency, this model brings a whole new level of intelligence to mobile and IoT devices. With combined audio and vision support for real-time processing, they can see and hear the world. All of this while natively supporting over 140 languages. Now, let's test our effective 2B on multilingual and agentic tasks.
So I'm already like thinking about a flaw of mine, right? You know, anytime I hear the word open model, especially because in the early days, like you need certain hardware to run these models, I need to stop just curbing open models to the side, like pushing them to the side, because clearly you can run them off of very little hardware now. So I'm going to be looking into Gemma 4 now, because the fact that you can do something fun on this is very intriguing to me, because everybody has one of these, right? So yeah, thank you. Thank you for helping me improve. And I promised not to keep kicking open models to the curb like I have been. I'll start to look a little bit more in depth.
Trouver un restaurant français à San Francisco? Please reply to me in English. Amazing, we have a winner. As open models become more central to enterprise infrastructure, security is paramount. Developed by Google DeepMind, Gemma 4 undergoes the same rigorous security protocols as our proprietary models, giving enterprise and developer a trusted foundation to build on top of. We want you to be able to use Gemma 4 with the tools you already know and love. You can download the weights and start experimenting today. We cannot wait to see what you create next.
Okay. I gotta say, I'm intrigued. To answer your question, I'm intrigued, Pokemon. I'm intrigued. Interesting. Okay. Oh, nice. Where's this source? Okay, I guess he's just writing for ARS Technica. Yeah, so we would just want the AI section. Claude Code source leaks reveal about Anthropic's plans. I don't want to show any code on screen. I mean, that's technically not code. This is just like a README. It looks like more than anything. Interesting. Yeah, hey, thank you. Like, listen, I heard about Hermes through somebody in the chat, like weeks before people started making videos about it. So like, I love everybody in the chat. Like, listen, we're all building together here. So I listen to every comment. I look at every comment. I remember most all comments. So thank you. And I promise not to keep kicking those open models to the curb, because clearly we can start testing those more and more. Okay, those are older. Looks like they really only have one new article today. Seems like they do a few articles a day, depending on the day. Okay. Hey, listen, Muddy found that. Now, let's see what it's built here. All right, now keep in mind for the ClearMud blog, right? This is hosted on Vercel now. So you say we'll need a ClearMud OS API endpoint that scrapes those RSS feeds and X accounts on a schedule. But I would prefer it if those are, I guess updating it at like 5 a.m. is not a bad thing, or even like 3 or 4 a.m. Once a day. I would prefer it if it was a live news feed, but at the same time, it's like, I guess it makes sense just to update it once a day. What are your thoughts here? I'm just kind of brain dumping here. And we're going to go AFK for a quick second. So BRB. All right, sorry about that stream. Too much coffee and water today. My goodness. I love it. Start on that now. And then also, what's our tech stack? I asked you about this earlier, I believe, right? Did that slip through the cracks, or did you respond in this wall of text that I just don't feel like reading? Okay. I mean, no, that's our website. Duh. I mean, I can't fault it, right? We're literally doing a lot of work on the website. So, of course, it's going to respond with that tech stack because I didn't clarify. But let's look back because chances are it's in one of these responses. Actually, no, it's not. Huh, interesting. Oh, nice. Video's doing well. It's cool. This one was fun to make. I knew it wasn't going to do very well, but I had a ball. I had a blast making that video. All right, we can close that. All right, we're just letting it work at this point. Now, I think in the meantime, one thing we can do is I can't spell today, clearly. There's an easier way to go about this, but sometimes I just go down the rabbit hole. Projects/promptbrowser.net. Man. Is it Prompt Browser app? I could have sworn, yeah, it's promptbrowser.net. Interesting. All right, good. Let's spin up Claude here. Could have sworn I just checked this morning and this is actually broken. That's the beauty of having something in beta. Let's view our channel, go grab a latest video, 10x your agent. I'm gonna give you 7 prompts. Share, copy. Yep, that's what I thought. All right, it looks like, I think ever since we updated the API key, and also please, I'm live streaming right now, so do not expose any private keys here that I would have to recreate as we are showing off the screen live. But this web app is not working any longer. I'm getting this error. I'm gonna paste in the screenshot. And I didn't restore any session. I started with fresh context, so it's going to first analyze the code base, do its thing. Let's go check back with Muddy. It's still working. Interesting. Space news, huh? Oh, did I interrupt it? Continue. Sometimes, as we're discovering, this chat is a little buggy today, so I'm just going to refresh. All right. I mean, clearly it's still working, so close that. Let's just focus on fixing this here. Do a little bit of vibe coding. Interesting. Let me go and no, I'm pretty sure the old key had an HTTP restriction. Go over to prompt browser, APIs, credentials. Now, wouldn't we want to set HTTP, website restrictions to make sure that only our website's calling this? Like, help me understand this a little better. Great for keys embedded in front end JavaScript. It ensures only requests originating from prompt browser pages can use the key, but your Gemini key runs server-side on Convex's infrastructure, which Convex makes the API call. There's no browser involved, no referred or header gets sent. That's why Google sees empty and blocks it. Okay. Interesting. Am I just gonna have to create an entirely new API key here? It's a bummer. Call this prod. We'll call this generative Generative language, and then YouTube data API. Cannot be combined with the currently selected API restrictions. Generative. Okay, that's a bummer. Now, because I'm not setting a website restriction, I have to create. So now, in order to select none, it can only allow a single API call, right? I can't co-locate YouTube Data V3 API and the Generative Language API. Now we'll have to create two separate APIs, but it was working previously before we changed the key. So like, this doesn't make sense why I have to do this now when before it was working just fine. Was this a... First look into this, and then I'll ask what I was about to ask. That is weird, isn't it? Unless previously, did I set the convex database URL as a restriction? I don't remember doing that. Did I? But I already deleted those old keys. Damn it. Lesson learned. Don't delete those old keys until they're ready to be deleted. Interesting. Yeah, maybe I didn't need, maybe I was getting this mixed up with different projects. So let me go ahead, remove YouTube data, add none, save. All right, I will remove YouTube data from the list. I set restrictions to none, and let's see if this works, shall we? Still doing its thing. Now, since we made changes on the API side, we shouldn't have to do anything else. Let me just make sure we go and grab that video again. I'm gonna have to open up convex on another screen because I don't want to show these variables. Let me make sure. Pretty sure I updated the API across everything before we signed off last time. Settings, variables. Yeah, and that looks good to me. That looks good to me. Yeah, it's the same. I do use Supabase for one of my projects, and I think early on I was using it more, but I've found myself leaning towards convex lately. I have less issues setting things up, if I'm being honest. Now, I still think both are great, right? But like, my only negative against Supabase is they try to upsell you at every turn possible, whereas convex is more transparent with their pricing and what's included. Like custom domains, for example. When you're using the Google Auth mechanics, right, of that database, the custom domain, when you click sign in with Google, you can either choose to have a custom domain or it just shows the random string that your database is associated with. On Supabase, you have to first sign up for the monthly sub, and then you have to pay additional per project to get that custom domain. Whereas Convex, yes, you do have to sign up for a monthly sub, but it's all included in that sub. You don't get upsold another 10, 15, 20 bucks just to get a custom domain in there. So I love how Convex is more transparent with their pricing, whereas Supabase is not. And then I've just been having a better experience with Convex. Now, I still have a web app running on Supabase for sure, but I think future iterations of it will migrate over to Convex personally. Hey, what's up, Ryan? Welcome. Hey, we're nearing the end of it. Sad to say. Sad to say. We're vibe coding a little bit. I know the title is vibe coding in public. Today we were primarily working with Muddy in public and watching some news. We watched a video, discovered this new account from somebody at OpenAI who posts a lot similar to Thorik, right? We're just vibing today. We're just vibing. So welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're having a good day. I legit said earlier, are you okay today or just slow? One of those Fridays, I suppose. Nah, I trust you. Just wire it up. We're doing it live. Additionally, did you answer me? What's the tech stack for Muddy OS and ClearMud OS? Not the website. I think Pokemon, you asked this, right? We're about to get your answer here in a moment. But if I remember correctly, it's HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. No sorry, no nothing. No, I missed it. That's twice now. That's hella funny. That's just too funny. No way. I guess I am using, I don't know, man. He's having some issues today. Apparently these are the tech stacks. For ClearMud OS, that makes sense. But for Muddy OS, I'm not entirely sure, but you know what? I could be wrong. Interesting. Yeah, no problem. There you go. That's not the case. That can't be the case because I tied that. Unless that account, let's go check billing. Billing. You have multiple billing accounts. Go to linked billing account. It should be our products account. Okay. Manage. Payment method. We should have a payment method tied to this account. We do. That's impossible because that API key comes from a project, right? Let me rephrase this a little bit better. Kind of a workspace within Google Cloud that we attach to a billing account, which handles all of our front-facing projects and products, right? I'm looking at it. Billing is set up. So I'm not sure where you're getting this from. Please show proof of work. All right, proceed. Now we're using the console.cloud.google.com dashboard to create these API keys. We're not doing this in AI Studio. Pay as you go. Yeah, my AI Studio only has a balance of $5. It's completely different than our Google Cloud billing account. No, I want to route through existing GCP billing. What's confusing to me is I set up the API key identically to how it was set up before. The only difference was it was in a completely different project attached to a completely different billing account. So explain to me why this is such a different approach with this new API key, right? It should have been a simple swap. Settings were the same, billing accounts set up. I feel like there might be something you're overlooking. Please don't jump to conclusions. Be methodical, do your research, give me an answer. Yeah, this is weird. What a weird day. It's like, I know I set things up properly. I know I tried to keep it as seamless as possible to make sure that the transition would work, but clearly it didn't. Clearly it didn't. Unless there's something I'm missing in, because I'm not really like an expert in the Google Cloud Console. So there's got to be some setting I'm missing in this new project I created. But like I attached the billing, there's a payment account, there's like everything's set up and working. It's just, technically I haven't used it yet. So maybe if I try to create another, guess I could test creating another project under the same billing account. Yeah, because Google Cloud Console is very like limited in, you can only attach, I think, 3 total accounts to one billing account, or 3 total like workspaces to one billing account. And I have one for ClearMud, right? One for demos. And then we have ClawCrib, which I moved over to products. And then I now have Prompt Browser, which I also moved over to products. So it was like, I was trying to separate each individual app with its own kind of workspace. Whereas I probably should have just created one workspace called projects and put them all in line there. And I wouldn't run into this issue most likely. But the problem with that is trying to figure out how much everything's costing me. It's a little bit harder to filter out specifically like where that cost is coming from when everything's just in one project or like one workspace, so to speak. So I wanted to separate things so that at the end of each month, I can visualize like, and I can see, okay, ClawCrib's spending this much, it's costing me this much, Prompt Browser is costing me this much, internal ops is costing me this much. Previously, I had everything co-located into internal ops, right? So I tried separating everything. And it's working great for ClawCrib, right? The ClawCrib transition worked just fine. It's just this Prompt Browser, which is not doing what it's supposed to do. So unless it's that second billing account that's not working, that could be it. That could be the issue. I'm guessing it's that. What you're telling me is old key, different project, different billing account worked, new key, same setup, same type of restrictions, doesn't work. Only variable that changed is what project billing account the key lives in. The error message, prepayment credits are depleted. That's specific. It doesn't say billing not configured or unauthorized. It says credits ran out, meaning new project had some billing relationship with the generative language API. It's on prepaid credits model rather than pay as you go. Okay. So I think this is what I'll finally use Gemini's Cloud Assistant and talk to it. Almost there, almost there. Can you explain to me why my API key in the prompt browser project isn't working, whereas the API keys in ClawCrib are working? Previously, I had prompt browser co-located in the ClearMud project, but I wanted to separate things. Sadly, I couldn't add prompt browser's project to the same billing account. So I had to create a separate billing account. That is really the only difference with that project, but the API key is running into an error saying credits depleted. I thought I configured it properly. Can you please compare my two billing accounts and see if that new billing account is causing these issues? All right. And just for anybody curious, Google Cloud has its own cloud assist here with Gemini that you can talk to. Now, since most of this, I'm going to keep it private because these are all production things. I just wanted to briefly show you that there's a little Gemini button on the top right-hand side of your Google Cloud console that you can chat with for free to ask questions specifically about Google Cloud, which I think is awesome. It is really cool. Yeah, of course, Pokemon. Thank you. Yo, what's up, DLX? Hey, I really appreciate this. I really do. Thanks for the feedback, man. Let's go. This is great to hear, man. I hope that the content around here contributed towards that or helped you at the slightest bit. So thank you for sharing. Thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate the feedback. Yeah, today's chill. We're vibing. We're chilling. It's a nice, easy Friday. I'm just waiting for Gemini's response here. What? Okay, that's annoying. I got to show you guys this. Sorry, I'm not able to answer that question. Well, shit. You're useless. Usually it actually does pretty good when I ask it questions. That's sad. That's real sad. So let me try going to managing both billing accounts. So they're both active. They're both the same exact account type. The only difference is the source of payment. I did change it to the business account since it's all products and projects related to ClearMud. There's money in there. I don't understand, like, there must be some setting in here that's not allowing it. I guess the ultimate test is to create a new API and just use it for something else to see if it works. Paid account. So it's under the same organization. Okay. Payment settings, maybe? Yeah, this is kind of boring. I'm sorry, guys. I know this part's boring. So I think this is just going to be something I figure out off air over the weekend when I'm doing infra stuff. I feel like that's the move. Yeah. How long have we been streaming for? Not a bad day. Not a bad day. Listen, as much as I want to keep vibing with you guys, I am hungry. It's one of those off days. Well, that's not right. Well, that's not right. Interesting. That's interesting. Okay. Well, listen, it's been fun. Yeah, it's been fun. I think this is a great place to end it. I'm tired. I want to eat some dinner, relax tonight, try to get some good sleep, and get into the weekend with some fun infra, just Dexter's laboratory stuff. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Once again, thanks DLX for stopping by. I appreciate the feedback. Thank you, Pokemon. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Supreme. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Alls. Thank you, Sharma. Thank you, Levi. Thank you, Whoosh. Thank you, Davey. Thank you, John. Let's make sure I got everybody. And then I can't. Oh, and thank you, Stonesy. You were like the last comment before it stopped allowing me to scroll up. Just want to thank each and every one of you individually for being here. Hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for vibing with me here on Friday. And we'll be back at it on Monday. So, yeah, until then, happy building. Cheers.